हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, धन्यवाद, प्रणाम।
हरे कृष्ण प्रकाश राव प्रभु जी, धन्यवाद प्रणाम।
वेरी नाइस टू सी यू प्रभु। हरे कृष्ण।
थैंक यू प्रभु।
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी।
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु। हरे कृष्ण प्रभु। Right, let us begin. I invite you, I welcome you and invite you to the early morning short Bhagavatam class organized by Radha Govinda Temple, Kulai, Mangalore. And I especially invite you for and on behalf of His Grace, Sri Namanista Das Prabhuji. Let us begin with prayers so that our brain works well and gives us understanding what Krishna actually wants us to know. And ultimately, we put that into practice so that we can go back to Godhead. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। श्रीचैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य देवम् श्रीराधा कृष्ण पादान सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीन बंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। May I request you to follow me? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम
ओम
नमो
नमो भगवते
भगवते वासुदेवाय।
वासुदेवाय।
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम
ओम
नमो
नमो भगवते
भगवते
वासुदेवाय।
वासुदेवाय।
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम
ओम
नमो
नमो
भगवते
भगवते
वासुदेवाय।
वासुदेवाय।
यं प्रव्रजन्तमनुपेतमपेतकृत्यं द्वैपायनो विरह कातर आजुभाव।
यं
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 व्रजन्तुम्
प्रव्रजन्तमनुपेतम्
उपेतम्
अपेतकृत्यम्
कृत्यम् द्वैपायनो
द्वैपायनो विरहकातर आजुहाव।
विरहाजुहाव।
पुत्रेति तन्मयतया तरवो विनेदु स्तं सर्वभूतहृदयं मुनिमानतोऽस्मि।
पुत्रेति
पुत्रेति
तन्मयतया
तन्मयतया
तरवोऽभिनेदुः
तरवोऽभिनेदुः तं
तं
सर्वभूतहृदयं
सर्वभूतहृदयं
मुनिमानतोऽस्मि।
मुनिमानतोऽस्मि।
यः स्वानुभावमखिलश्रुतिसारमेकम् Adhyatmadipamatitirshatam tamondam.
यस्वानुभावक्लृप्तिसारमेकम्
यस्वानुभावक्लृप्तिसारमेकम्
अध्यात्मदीपमतितीर्षताम्
अध्यात्मदीपम्
तमोऽन्धम्
अतितीर्षतान्नमोऽन्धम्
Sansariणामकरुणयाः पुराणगुह्यम् तं व्याससुनुमुपयामि गुरुं मुनीनाम्.
संसारिणां
संसारिणां
करुणयाः
करुणयाः
पुराणगुह्यं
तं
तं
व्याससूनुमुपयामि
व्याससूनुमुपयामि
गुरुं
गुरुं
मुनीनाम्
मुनीनाम्
नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमम्.
नारायणं
नारायणं
नमस्कृत्य
नमस्कृत्य नरं
नरं
चैव
चैव नरोत्तमम्
नरोत्तमम्
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये.
देवीं
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 सरस्वतीं
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 व्यासं
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 ततो
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 जयमुदीरये
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 शृण्वतां स्वकथः कृष्णः पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनः
शृण्वतां
शृण्वतां
स्वकथाः
कथाः
स्वकथा
कृष्णः
कृष्णः
पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनः
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 हृदयन्तस्तो यभद्राणि विदुनोति सुरस्तताम्.
हृदयन्तस्तो हि
हृदयन्तो हि
हृदयन्तास्तो
भद्राणि
भद्राणि
विधुनोति
भद्राणि
विधुनोति
विदुनोति
सुहृत्सताम्
सुसताम्
नश्च प्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया
नष्टप्रायेषु
नष्टप्रायेषु
अभद्रेषु
अभद्रेषु
नित्यं
भागवत
भगवत
सेवया
भागवतसेवया
सेवया
भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्टिकी.
भगवती
भगवती
भगवति
उत्तमश्लोके
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 भक्तिर्भवति
भक्तिर्भवति
नैष्टिकी
नैष्टिकी
नित्यं भागवत सेवया daily recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam certainly takes away all is inauspicious things from in and around our life, helps us worship the Uttama Sloka, Lord Shri Krishna, who would bestow us Naistiki Bhakti, ahetukik and uninterrupted Bhakti, which we all are seeking for. Okay. Yes. Lovely. Okay, we all set now. We'll take 2 verses if possible today, and I think it should be 24 and 25. Let us begin with 24th verse, 5th canto, 8th chapter. The chapter is the description of the character of the Parikshit of Bharat Maharaj. Madhumai Mataji, please go ahead, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय अपि स्विद् असौ भगवान् उडुपतिर्येनं मृगपति भयान् मृतमातरं मृगबालकं स्व आश्रमा परिभ्रष्टम् अनुकम्पया कृपणजनवत्सला परिपाति. थैंक यू प्रभु जी. हरे कृष्ण.
Thank you, Mata. Hare Krishna. Anjali Mataji, Hare Krishna, Mata.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी अपि स्वीद असौ भगवान उडुपतिर एनं मृगपति भयात् मृतमातरं मृगबालकं स्व आश्रम परिभ्रष्टम् अनुकम्पया कृपणजनवत्सलः परिपाति. हरे कृष्ण.
Thank you. Prakash Rao Prabhuji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Happy sweet asau Bhagavan Udupati Renam Mugapati Bhayat Nutamataram Mrugabalakam Swaasrama Paribhastamanu Kampaya Krupana Jana Vassalaha Paripati. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prakash Rao Prabhuji. Srinivas Rao Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी दंडवत प्रणाम। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। अपि स्विदसौ भगवान उडुपतिरेनं मृगपति भयान्मृतमातरं मृगबालकं स्वाश्रम परिभ्रष्टम् अनुकंपया कृपण जनवत्सल परिपाति। हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी।
Thank you, Prabhuji. Reena Mataji, Hare Krishna Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी धन्यवाद जी। अपि स्विदसौ भगवान् उडुपति पतिरेनं मृगपति भयानमृतमातरं मृगबालकं स्वाशरं परिभष्टमनुकम्पया कृपणजनवत्सल परिपाति। हरे कृष्ण। थैंक यू प्रभु जी।
Thank you, Mataji. Venkata Narsiya Das Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी। अपिस्वित असौ भगवान उडुपतिरेनं मृगपति भयात् मृतमातरं मृगबालकं स्वाश्रम परिभ्रष्टम् अनुकंपया कृपण जनवत्सलः परिपाति। हरे कृष्ण।
Thank you. Vijaya Kumari Mataji, Hare Krishna Mataji, and thank you very much for keeping your video on. I really appreciate it.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी।
Go
ओम
ahead.
नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। अभिस्वेत् असौ भगवान् उडुपतिरेनं मृगपति भयान् मृदमादरं मृगबालकं स्वाश्रम परिष्टम् अनुकम्पया कृपण जनवत्सलः परिपाति। हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी। थैंक यू प्रभु जी।
Thank you, Mataji. Madhu Soni Mataji, Hare Krishna
हरे
Mataji.
कृष्ण प्रभु जी। दंडवत प्रणाम। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। अपि स्वित असौ भगवान उडुपतिरेनं मृगपति भयानमृतमातरं मृगबालकं स्वाश्रम परिभ्रष्टम् अनुकंपया कृपणजनवत्सलः परिपाति। थैंक यू प्रभु जी। हरे कृष्ण।
Thank you, Mataji. Usha Bhaskaran Mataji, Hare Krishna Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी।
Go ahead,
ओम
Mataji.
नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। अपि स्वेत् असौ भगवान् उडुपतिरेनं मृगपति भयान् मृतमातरं मृगबालकं स्वशाश्रम परिभष्टम् अनुकंपया कृपानजनवत्सल परिपाति। हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी। थैंक यू प्रभु जी।
Mataji. Prafulla Mataji, Hare Krishna Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी। प्रणाम प्रभु जी। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। अपिस्विद् असौ भगवान् उडुपतिरेनं मृगपति भयान् मृत्युमातरं मृगबालकं स्वाश्रम परिभ्रष्टम् अनुकंपया कृपण जनवत्सल परिपाति। हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी। थैंक यू प्रभु।
Thank you. Subbarao Prabhuji, Hare Krishna and Dandavat Pranam.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी। दंडवत प्रणाम प्रभु जी। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। अपि स्विदसौ भगवान् उडुपतिरेनं मृगपति भयान्मृतमातरं मृगबालकं स्वाश्रम परिभ्रष्टमनुकंपया कृपणजनवत्सल परिपाति। हरे कृष्ण।
Thank you, Subbarao Prabhuji. Subbarao Prabhuji, can you go on reading the synonyms for us?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you. Apisvit, can it be Asau, that Bhagavan, most powerful, Udupatihi, the moon, Enam, this Mrugapati Bhayat, because of fear of the lion, Mrutamataram, who lost its mother, Mrugabalakam, the son of a deer, Sva Paribhrashtam, who strayed from its ashrama, Anukampaya, out of compassion, Krupana Jana Vatsala, the moon, who is very kind to the unhappy man, Paripati, now is protecting it. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Subhara Prabhuji. Translation. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Maharaj Bharat continued to speak like a madman, seeing above his head the dark marks of the rising moon, which resembled a deer. He said, "Can it be that the moon, who is so kind to an unhappy man, might also be kind upon my deer, knowing that it has strayed from home and has become motherless? This moon has given the deer shelter near itself, just to protect it from the fearful attack of lion." It is a saying in English that mind sees what it knows and you always see what you think. Moon is rising and there are always black marks, though very light marks on the surface of the moon, whiteness of the moon. Bharat Maharaj is considering that as an appearance of a deer or reflection of a deer on the surface of the moon, and hoping here that probably moon has given shelter to that deer. If the moon has given a shelter, then at least the moon will be protected. And moon is given a shelter simply because the moon knows that the deer has strayed from home, and in jungle there are lions who could eat away this little creature. The mind is a factory which works very fast. It reaches miles away or millions of miles away in a fraction of a second. So mind has a speed no one else has. And since mind has a speed, unsurmountable speed, keeping it at one place quiet is almost impossible. If you can somehow make mind do that, you have probably conquered the world, or you probably established yourself in a mood of liberation, being perfectly situated. While we are living a material life, it's a game of the mind. And while we enter into spiritual mind, it's not the game of the mind, but the control of the mind. Bhagavad Gita has very clearly mentioned that if you control mind, mind is the best friend. But mind you, if you can't control the mind, it can make you agitated, anxious, and jumping from one to other place without you knowing about it. Mind can really work on you so much. And you are looking at that typical example, a person who left the kingdom, a person who had enjoyed a material life for thousands of years, he left it without a trace, left all his loving family members who stayed with him, shared all the happiness and sorrows and grief and pleasures. He left them all without any problem. And look at that big man here getting entangled into a small deer and thinking all about a deer. He, in fact, has probably forgotten that he has come to jungle not to serve the deer, but to go back to Godhead. The lesson that we must learn is that unless we discipline ourselves, we discipline it so well that we can't break the four regulatory principles at all. This discipline is going to go a long way in the process of thinking, which would obviously get disciplined, and then your mind comes under your own control. A regulated mind always would help you walk steadily on a spiritual path. And small, irrelevant things that keep coming to you from this material world would not shake you up and would not let you fall. Let's go to the next verse. And then we'll take up the discussion. Who would like to recite this verse? Okay. Madhumai Mataji, you are the fastest finger first. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Kim va atmaja vislesha jvara davadahana shikhabhir upatapyamana hridayasthalanalinikam mam upasrutamrugitanayam shishirashanta anuraga gunita nijavadana salila amritamaya gavastibhir swadhayati iti cha. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Anjali Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. किं वा आत्मज विश्लेष ज्वर दवदहन शिखाभिः उपतप्यमाना हृदयस्थलनलिनीकं माम उपसृतमृगीतनयं शिशिरशान्ता अनुरागगुणित निजवदन सलिल अमृतमय गभस्तिभिः स्वधयति च. हरे कृष्ण प्रभुजी.
Thank you, Mataji. Venkata Narasimha Das Prabhuji. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Kim va atmaja vislesha jara davadahana sikhabhi upatapyamana hridaya sthalanalinikam mamupasmruta mrugagitayam shishirashanta anuraga ganita nijavadana salila amrutamaya Gavasti bi swadayati ati iticha.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Madhu Soni Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Kim Vatmaj Vishlesha Jvara Dava Dahana Shikha Virupatapyamana Hridaya Sthala Nalinikam Mamupashrita Mrigitanayam Shishira Shantanuraga Gunita Nijavadana Salila Amritamaya Gabhastibhiha Swadhayati Ticha. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Subharao Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Kim vatmaja vislesha jvara dava dahana davana sikhabhirupa tamyamana hridayasthalana linikam Mamupasrutamrugitanayam Sishira Shantanuraga Gunita Nijavadana Salila Amrutamayaga Bhastibihi Swadhayati Iticha. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Thank you. Usha Bhaskaran Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Kim va atmaja vislesha jvara davadhanasikabihi upatmayamana hridayasthala nirnalinakam mam upashrita mrgadhanayam shishra shanta anuragas gunitah nijavadana salila amritamaya gapahastibi swatayati iti cha. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Srinivas Rao Prabhuji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय किं वात्मज विश्लेष ज्वर दव दहन सिकाभिरुपतप्यमान हृदय स्थल नलिनीकम् माम् उपसृत मृगीतनयम् शिशिर शान्तानुराग गुणित निजवदन सलिलामृतमय गभस्तिभिः स्वदयन्तीति च. हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी.
Thank you. Prafula Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभुजी. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. किं बत्मज विश्लेष जर दव दहन शिखवीर उपतप्यमानं हृदयस्थल नलिनीकं मम उपसृत्य मृगीतनयं शिशिर शान्तनुराग गुणितः निज वदन सलिल अमृतमय भुवस्तिभिः स्वधयतीति च. हरे कृष्ण प्रभुजी. थैंक यू प्रभु.
Thank you, Mataji. Prakash Rao Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. किं
Thanks.
वात्मज विश्लेष ज्वर दव दहना निशिकाभिः उपतप्य मान हृदयस्थल नलिनीकं मामुपसृत मृगीतनयं शिशिरनाशान्तानुराग गुणित निजवदन सलीलामृतमय गविस्तभिः स्वधयातीति च. हरे कृष्ण प्रभु.
Thank you. Prafula Mataji, would you read the synonyms for us?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Synonyms: Kimba, or it may be, Atmaja, from the sun, Vislesa, because of separation, Jwara, the heat, Davadahana, of the forest fire, Sikhavi, by the flames, Utapyamana, being burned, Hudaya, the heart, Thala, place, Nalinikam, compared to a red lotus flower, Mam, unto me, Upasruta Mrugitanayam, to whom the son of the deer was so submissive, Sisira Santa, which is so peaceful and cool, Anuraga, out of love, Gunita, flowing, Nija Padana Salila, the water from its mouth, Amrutamaya, as good as nectar, Gavasthivihi, by the rays of the moon, Swadhayati, is giving me pleasure, Iti, thus, Ja, and Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prafula Mataji. Thank you very much. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. After perceiving the moonshine, Maharaj Bharat continued speaking like a crazy man. He said, the deer's son was so submissive and dear to me that due to its separation, I am feeling separation from my own son. Due to the burning fever of this separation, I am suffering as if inflamed by a forest fire. My heart, which is like the lily of the land, is now burning, seeing me so distressed. The moon is seeing me so distressed. The moon is certainly splashing its shining nectar upon me, just as a friend throws water on another friend who has a high fever. In this way, the moon is bringing me happiness. Purport. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. According to Ayurvedic treatment, it is said that if one has a high fever, someone should splash him with water after gargling this water. In this way, the fever subsides. Although Bharat Maharaj was very aggrieved due to the separation of his so-called son, the deer, he thought that the moon was splashing gargled water on him from its mouth, and that this water would subdue his high fever, which was raging due to separation from the deer. Bharat Maharaj is now feeling what deer must be feeling. So your imagination goes further and farther, entangling the opposite party and other parties. A young boy who falls in love to a girl imagines lots of things. Some of them never exist. Now reaching the age, we know this hard fact. Bharat Maharaj has reached that stage of adolescence in the process of material attachment. And look at what material attachment can do to you and your mind, your intelligence, and so-called your false ego. All of them combined can't really work against you when you get attached to the material modes, and when those three modes of material nature starts working on you, you become a slave. And that's why until you are detached or at least transcend the three modes of material nature, you are always in a fear of a fall down in the spiritual path. Three modes of material nature are so strong, so powerful on a conditioned soul that you would not realize where the attack has begun. You would consider as one of those soft moments for your happiness and pleasure, and you will go down into the well, which is a blind well or a dark well. And once you enter into it, there is no way you come out. So you have to be very careful in dealing with things around. You have to give concession for all the activities of three modes of material nature that works on you all the time while you are trying to transcend it. And that certainly is going to give you troubles and troubles. Again comes your mind, your intelligence, and your ego. So your subtle body is very important. Unless this subtle body is purified, keeping it under control is almost impossible. Srila Prabhupada has taught us how to purify your subtle body. Besides following four regulatory principles, which are kind of a sadhana bhakti, The subtle body can be purified by your Japanama, Mahamantra being done regularly. That will certainly purify your heart. The anarthas go away, and you would have more and more powerful subtle body without contamination, or at least cleaning up. Mind you, a small material tinge is good enough for you to fall down. This example is shown here in a form of an analogy that you can understand how things in the material world works. Though we live a life, but an experience of a lifetime may not be sufficient enough for you to understand the complexity of the three modes of material nature and the manifested world. As sometimes some people say, one lifetime is not enough. But look at us. We have been here for time immemorial, and we do not know how many times we have come here. We must have come certainly for many times, that something good was done at some time, and we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam early in the morning on Sunday morning. Certainly Krishna has favored us. He has put us on a right track. It's now how we walk and whether we walk the talk. Krishna has given us the opportunity, has made contacts with people like Sri Ramanishtadas Prabhuji and the whole Krishna conscious movement, which makes life much more easier to walk on a spiritual path. And gurus like Srila Prabhupada, Jayapataka Swami, and all other senior devotees who can help you show the way. And Srila Prabhupada, with all his mercy and kindness, is showing us the way of Nama Jap. If we do the Hare Krishna Mahamantra regularly, it will certainly help us purify ourselves. But as said earlier many times, this is like a medicine, and it has to have a very regular dose. And so, Nam Japa of whatever rounds you are doing must be done regularly. Absence of one day must be compensated, or else your dose of medicine is not sufficient enough, and then the material disease will certainly relapse. You all know that a relapsed disease is much difficult to control. So let it not relapse, and let us have a regular dose being done regularly. Yena kena prakarena. As they say, when you want something desperately, you buy, borrow, or steal. Similarly, this is what you want to do desperately. And that desperation must be there so that we become a regular practitioner of Japa Mantra. Look at what Bharat Maharaj is imagining. He is imagining that he himself is feeling feverish because of distress that has been caused by a separation of a deer whom he might not have met for more than 2-3 months or so. In a life of 100 years, few months make no difference. It's a very small contact. But that contact is good enough that he is feeling separation of deer like separation of his own son. And that creates distress so much that he is already feeling a fever raging in his body. And look at his imagination. He further thinks that let moon splash cold glances so that the fever goes away. Giving an analogy as people do in Ayurveda. The recent generation may not know, but it was the standard practice some 10, 15, 20 years ago that whenever there is a fever or a high fever, start putting the napkin dipped in a cold water on the forehead and other parts of the body. This certainly helps reducing the body temperature because of the evaporation of the water that leaves coldness behind. In the present era of air conditioners, all we do is reduce the air temperature. That's good enough for the fever to go away. Certainly, we are ready to become slave at any moment till we are conditioned. The conditioning can only go away if we get detached from these three modes of material nature. And that is only possible when you have purified yourself, uncontaminated yourself by japas. And that's why Srila Prabhupada always says that you may forget or not be able to do anything else. That's why. But japa must always be done regularly. You never forget your rounds and do it every day most regularly. The message is very clear. And they are showing you a nice film in a great detail so that it touches your heart. When something is said repeatedly in a finer detail with fine tuning, it certainly touches the heart, makes you aware, and your brain starts working on it. So let us presume that with the condition of Bharat Maharaj that we have seen, such an exalted devotee, such a successful emperor, having a great lineage, also falls down. A small deer who we just saw recently has no other connection, and still he starts thinking that deer as if he is his own son. So we do become quite disproportionate in our thinking and quite wrongly put ourselves in a situation so bad that actually there is nothing but we make a mountain out of it. Any question, any revelation, any addition, please go ahead. Prakash Rao Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. What a wonderful explanation, Prabhuji. What is that we can add after telling all these things? But anyhow, it has struck to my mind. If you permit me, I will tell one or two sentences, Prabhuji.
Please take your time.
about this mind, no? See, in the past 4 or 5 days, we have been discussing about how the downfall of Bharat Maharaj, who is in such a advanced stage of spiritual life, to the material life, just because of that missing deer who loved you too much. So he struck to whether he could not control his mind and thoughts. In the Bhagavad Gita Dhyana Yoga 6.6, Krishna says like this, Prabhuji. बंधुरात्मात्मनस्तस्य येन आत्मैव नात्मना जितः अनात्मानस्तु शत्रुत्वे वत्त आत्मैव शत्रुवत्. He says that one who conquer the mind, that mind will become his best friend, or if you fails to do so, the mind will remain the greatest enemy. That's which you have already told. Just I quoted this sloka, Prabhu. So one who fails to win, it's our revelation that what we said. So person, the one who fails to control his mind, he will be in the clutches of the three modes of nature. So that's why we should be very careful controlling that. The attachment to the materialist life should be, or materialist things should be reduced, and our goal is to reach Krishna, Lord Krishna, to that say. So in the 7.14 also, that's why Krishna says, Daivi Yesha Gunamai Mama Maya Durataya Mameya Metam Taran Prabhadyante Maya Metam Tarantite. There also he says that it is created by me. The three modes of experience is a very powerful Shakti and created by me. It is very difficult to cross over that unless you surrender to me. Krishna very clearly told in that. So, as you said that continuously japa we have to do and control our thoughts. Only that is the only way to reach God. That is my feeling, Prabhuji. If I tell anything wrong, please forgive me. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Perfectly said, Prakash Rao Prabhuji. It's a wonderful revelation that you told us. And thank you very much for sharing it. You have told us two good references. That's exorbitant. Very nice. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. We deeply appreciate it. Yes, Tukarao Prabhuji, would you like to add something?
Prabhuji, you have explained such a vivid, clear way. How is the mind and how to, the only way to control it, or in fact, fix it on. And mind is usually not controlled. It can be only diverted, Prabhuji. It has to be kept on still higher level.
Yes.
Unless you develop your taste for a higher thing, we cannot overcome the lower level affinities. Otherwise, mind easily out of our control gets fixed to whatever it is attracted. It has got only two qualities. One is sankalpa, another is vikalpa. Either it wants it or it doesn't want it. It will be like that. So it is our duty to use our consciousness to paradrishta nivartante, vishaya vinivartante, niraharasya dehina. So we have to keep still higher taste by our sadhana and practice, and there the key lies.
Thank you, Subharao Prabhuji. That's a good revelation as well. Wonderful, very nice. Sureka Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Yes, you remember any other references to help us?
No, I was remembering that only Bandhuratmatmanastasya Yenatmaiva.
You like to add anything?
Yes. No, Prabhu, thank you.
Thank you.
Everything.
Prafulla Mataji, Madhumai Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. There is one more sloka also in Bhagavad Gita. Mamcha yo avyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samati tetan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. So the one who is doing the devotional service continuously, he can only overcome these three modes of material nature. And that's what I just wanted to add into this references, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yes, yes. Thank you very much, Madhumai Mataji. That's wonderful. Yes, that's true. And until we do that, we are still in a shamble. So don't think we still fall in a class of a neophyte and nothing more than that. So this puffing up that comes up anywhere in the mind has no place really. Thank you, Mataji. Lord Krishna always says that if you surrender to me and surrender to me completely, then you don't have to worry. You will cross the ocean so easily. But we don't want to surrender to him. We want to surrender to material things and material pleasures. As someone was just saying, that you lie in the bed of so-called happiness of the material sense gratification, or keep on having the fever of material miseries. So there are only two positions that we have in the material world. We do not appreciate it, we do not understand it. And of course, they being quite contrasting to each other, they come one after the other. And the part of having a fever and material miseries are always prolonged, and part of happiness, if at all it is there, they are only blinks. Hare Krishna. That's true. That's very much true. Prafulla Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. That only I was just going to share, Prabhuji. Bandhur atmanata astasya jainatmanat atmanajitah anatiya nastu satriva vartetat meva satruvat, like that. For whom who has conquered the mind is the best friends, and if we are controlled by the mind, then it is the worst of enemy. We know that we are being controlled by mind, but there is no other way, Prabhuji. You are thinking that we will try to conquer our mind, to subdue our mind. We will not get controlled by our mind, but we are entangled by the three modes of nature like this. And we know, but we are not able to conquer it, Prabhuji.
That's true. Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you, Prafulla Mataji. It's as there is a saying in English, easy come, easy go. We always look at easy things which are simple and easier. We try and do it and get out of the complexities. And that's what brings us back to the material world again and again. Thank you very much, Prafulla Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Any other question, any other queries, revelation, any doubts, any problems? Well, if there are none, I wish you all a wonderful Sunday. Have a nice Krishna conscious day and have a nice day with you and your family. Thank you very much. Vancha kalpatarupesya, Prabhupada Patita Nam Pavadebhyo, Vaishnavibhyo, Namo Namah. Anant Koti Vaishnav ki jai. Hare Krishna to all of you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dhanyawadalu. Dhanyawad pranams.
Hare
One more wonderful session.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Very nice.
Thank you, Vijay Kumari Mataji. Hare